Hi, crafty friends. Okay, guys, let's use this mesh and then some of these little, these are kind of got a little bit of sparkle, I mean, in them, and they're from the Dollar Tree. And what I did was I just kind of twisted it together at the bottom, and then the top part, I kind of pinched it and then just kind of made a bit of a shape. The shapes don't have to be perfect because we're going to make a poinsettia. So I'm going to do 9 of these. And then what we'll do is we will put them on to the mesh once we get all of them done. Now I left the tails hanging off of these because I figured it would be easier when we put them all together that we could kind of just use the tails to make the base of the poinsettia. One thing, though, I did do that I would not do again when I make the rest of these is you'll see when I start to glue them, I put the glue down onto the mesh, and I should have put them all on the bottom, the stems, and then laid the mesh on top of it. It would have been a whole lot less messy, and it wouldn't have stuck to my mat, but that's okay. Hey, we all, when we're crafting, some things don't work out, but then I like to share with you guys how to do it so that it isn't kind of a disaster and stuck to the mat like what happened to me. So here's what I'm talking about. I was like, okay, so how do I want to lay these out? Because the mesh kind of has lines in it. So I wanted them to all go the same direction. And so here's where I'm like, okay, let's put the glue on it. And then I'll just lay it down on the mesh and just kind of make sure it adheres really well. So actually what I should have done is done this part and then laid the mesh on top of it. But that's okay. We got it off of the mat and everything was fine. And then we just, did it the right way for the rest of them. But at least I had a plastic mat down and I didn't glue it to my table. So there's a bonus in that. But once we get them all onto the mesh, what we're going to do is we're going to trim around and get all of that excess mesh off of there. And we're just going to go right up next to the pipe cleaner. So at first I was like, ooh, I want to give it a little bit of an edge because I was worried, when I got too close to the pipe cleaner, but it actually worked really well. And so you'll see me do that here in a second. So here's where I cut it off, and then I was like, oh boy, okay, let's get that off the table. But here's the part where I was talking about. I wanted to make sure everything was just adhered down really well, and it was. So then I just started trimming. So once we get all 9 of the petals covered, then with the mesh, then what we'll do is we'll start putting the petals together. And again, I don't know necessarily if you would need to leave the tails because you could actually just hot glue all the bottoms together. But I kind of liked doing it with the tails so that I could twist them all together and then it held really well. I also grabbed a pack of these cute little cherry, I call them cherries because they're big, but they're berries. And I thought, oh, that would be super cute in the middle. I also had a pack of the red ones with the white. That would be fun too. But you could totally just play with it and make it however you wanted. But my friends, look how stinking cute these are. I'm making more. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to follow the page for more crafts. Thanks, friends.